Oh, my name is Doris Bird, and I'm a teacher. I was a teacher for 50 years at Napa High. I live in Napa, California, and I taught school for all those years, and it turned out to be a wonderful thing for me because I love teaching. And it's interesting because Joan's a teacher too, and we both love to teach. In 1958, I was at Brigham Young University for my second year, and I met someone named Earl Bird, and through him, I met his cousin, who is Joan Wainwright, and Arlen Wainwright, who is Earl's best friend and also a cousin. And through that, I became part of Joan Wainwright's family, and it was one of the best meetings I ever had, because getting to be part of Joan's family introduced me to this wonderful, I became sort of a family member of this wonderful, wonderful extended family. And because of that, through the years, I have had so many experiences with this family because of meeting Earl and marrying him. But the marriage ended, but my relationship with Joan's family has gone on for 50 years. It's been wonderful, and have always loved it. And one of my regrets, though, is that because I taught all the time, I could never go to her theater productions in Utah. And I always wanted to see her productions because I heard wonderful things about them. And I never got to see one. But what?
You never got to see one?
Never. I never got to see one of her productions. And she would do things like when she put on Carousel, she had a real carousel outside the theater when they went in, and things like that. She just did amazing productions. I heard about them, but I never got to see them because I was always working myself. And then she had wanted me to go back on her trips to New York because she took tours of people to see theater in New York every year. And I never could do that either because, of course, that was at Christmas time or in the summer. And that was when I wanted to go and be with my family, because I had kids scattered everywhere. And I was always going somewhere like Dallas, Texas, or somewhere to see them. And so I never got to do that with her either. And finally, a couple of years ago, I had the wonderful experience of going with Joan and her family to Europe. And I got to be involved with a whole new family in amazing ways. It's like they're part of my family now. And I've just experienced so much wonderful fun with them, and I feel part of that family, and it's great. And it's all because of knowing Joan. And we've been close friends for all these years. And we haven't been able to be together all the time, but we've always kept in touch, and we call each other and talk and things like that. But it's been an ongoing friendship for over 50 years. And you can't, there are things that you have with someone you've known for 50 years that you just don't get with anyone else. Well, Joan and I both experienced hard times. And there's a third person in there that was my husband, Earl. He had a half-sister. Well, she wasn't really even his sister, but she was someone who lived with his parents for years, Marge. And Joan and I were both close with Marge, too. She lived down in Phoenix, Arizona. And one time we were at Joan's house in Salem, and we were out there talking about our lives in the kitchen. And Joan's kids came in the kitchen to find us to see what we were laughing so hard at, because we were laughing at how ridiculous our lives were and how we thought they wouldn't turn out that way. And they said, "What are you laughing at?" And they couldn't believe that we were laughing about our lives, our crazy lives, because we all ended up in weird situations, you know, where we hadn't thought we'd be. And it was just, we had a sense of humor about it. And Joan and I have always laughed about things and had such a good time because we have the same crazy sense of humor. It's fun. One of the things that Joan and I learned together, because we were both living ridiculously difficult situations sometimes in our early years in our marriage and everything like that, is that we learned to laugh. We learned to laugh about it because it was all ridiculous. And we decided it was just funny and we might as well joke about it. But what I've had with Joan is, I live in California now, and that means I'm not in Utah, but I get to come and live in Utah with Joan, and we do a lot of things together. Just last week, we went up to see a production that one of her students had done up in Salt Lake. One of them she taught at Cottonwood High School, and it was wonderful to go there. It was not someone that she was doing anymore. We just went to see the production of this man, and it was wonderful, and I got to experience that. And I've gone with Joan every year. She takes people to theater, to see theater in New York. And she was always trying to get me to go on one of those trips to New York, and also she used to do it to England. But again, I was teaching and I couldn't go do those things. So finally I haven't been to England on that trip with her, but I have now done a week in New York with her. And it was wonderful. And we just had so much fun doing that. Of course, we have to, you know, go find the good restaurants to eat in and things like that, because with us it's a lot of the time it's all about the food, you know, because we both love to eat. But it's and being with her, I got to become a part of Joan's whole family in a way that I wouldn't have if we hadn't, because the first time I really became close to Joan's family was when I went to Europe with them. And we went to see the Passion Play in Oberammergau. And I can't tell you what it was like to be on one of those trips, because we went on a bus trip through a lot of Europe, and with her family. And Carla and Randy are like my own kids. We just really have a closeness. And Randy's always teasing me and things, and Carla's just salt of the earth. She's this person I would trust with anything in my life, and they're like they're partly mine because we're so close. And through that, I got to be friends with a whole wonderful family of Joan's. She has an amazing family, and they've all let me into their family in a way. And I always think how sad it is that Earl didn't get to live and experience that. That was my ex-husband, but he missed so many things that I've gotten to do because of Joan and our friendship. And it's just been the most wonderful, long friendship. I feel like when I go to her house that it's partly a home for me. It's wonderful. Well, you know, the thing about Joan and her hair, I know some of her friends, and she has many fun, interesting gay friends. And one of them made up a calendar with her hair as the focus of the calendar. And they sent me one, Joan sent me one, a copy of it, because she knows I would love it. And it's really hilarious because, you know, many travel people who take tours and travel, they carry an umbrella or something to hold up so that people will know where they are and they can follow them so they don't lose people in a crowd. And Joan doesn't need it because she has that hair piled up on her head. And you can always spot Joan. And one time we were going on to a cruise ship and I got separated from the group or something, and I said to the lady, if you see somebody with a lot of red hair piled way up on her head, will you be sure and tell me if she's on, because I wasn't sure if she'd gone on the ship or not. And a little while later, this lady came over and she said, I see her, there she is, you know, here she is, and she knew who she was. And that hair is very distinctive for Joan. It's an amazing, unique thing about her that it does make you find her wherever she is, you know, in places like that. And she's not that tall, but the hair makes it so you find her. And it's very Joan. And I especially love it because I know what her friends, her hairdresser friends and things, are just love that about her, you know. Okay, she's a drama teacher. And that says a lot about her because she's a little bit of a drama queen. You know, we all laugh about how Joan's a drama queen, and in the best possible way. And her friend Greg, he gives her a bad time about this too, but she really is unique. She really, when you're with her, anything could happen because she's a bit crazy and I'm a bit crazy, so we have a good time together because we'd be willing to do amazing things almost anywhere, you know. And she's the type who will, in New York, will go try anything, not dangerous things, but you know, just really interesting things. And it's never boring with Joan. I've never been bored ever with her because she's doing something. For instance, right now she told me she's making fruit cakes this week, and she said, you know, and she says, remember, it's our family fruit cake, and I'm part of that family, and that means our great-grandmother, you know, and I hardly knew them. But then there's Marie, who Joan visited every day. Marie was my mother-in-law, and she had multiple sclerosis for most of her life, her adult life, but I knew her. But Joan had known her before, you know, obviously running around, and she was very active and everything, and Joan adored Marie. She just adored her. And I think Joan visited her every day when she was stuck at home, and her husband Harvey took care of her, and Joan would visit there all the time. And then Marie ended up in a nursing home after Harvey. He got ill with bad eyes things, so he couldn't lift Marie anymore, and they had to put her in a care home when she got hurt and everything. And Joan went to visit her every day. She's like that. She's just there for you, you know. When people need her, she does these amazing things, and she's the busiest woman I know. I don't know how she does it, because she's involved in so many things, you know, the head of the Thespian Society in the whole country, and she's always involved, and she teaches classes at, what is it? It's the Elder Quest classes, and she's just constantly involved in so many things. I always say that I sit a lot at home or watch TV or something, and Joan never does that. She doesn't watch TV. She's always busy doing things, you know. She's just, and she and Carla sell travel, and they really work all the. I said, you guys work when I'm watching TV, you know, because they work constantly. They're selling travel, and they're doing things, and she's very thrilled that she has Carla, because she adores Carla, and Carla's there for her when she had her knee operations. Carla was home there taking care of her and things like that, and it's a wonderful working relationship, but also lots of love too. And I love their relationship. It's great that they have each other. And Carla has this job, you know, with her, but as Joan always said, but they get the perks too, because she and Keith get to go on trips and things, you know. But they have this special thing between them that's wonderful. It really is. And this wonderful working relationship. And Joan, I've also gotten to participate in the condo here in St. George. And that's a special thing too, because the whole family meets down there at important times like Thanksgiving and things like that. Well, that's why we're here today. And you have a family. I've been in her house a couple of years ago when there were, I don't know, I think she fed 38 people at the tables that they had spread out through there. And they're all family and friends and things like that. And through her, I've met so many wonderful friends and people. And she shared those people with me. And then in Salem, Spanish Fork, we have Greg and I can't remember names now, but her friend Mavis is a wonderful woman, and she and Mavis go coking on Sundays. They go and ride around and talk in this little town of Salem and Spanish Fork, and it's wonderful. And I've gotten to know all these people because of Joan, and they're all wonderful friends. And Greg and Doctor and his wife, and she shares her friends with me. And so I have a whole group of wonderful people who are friends that I get because of Joan. So she's made my life really a lot more interesting and fun, because she's fun. We just have a lot of fun together. And we do kind of crazy things for ladies our age, but we don't think about that because we like to just go out and experience things, and I've done that with Joan. And a couple of years ago, she's from Wyoming originally, and we have British friends that I introduced her to, actually, and they came to visit us, and she took them. We went up through Wyoming, went all through Wyoming, and then we went to Yellowstone, and we ended up. They had the most amazing experience. They couldn't believe they were doing it, because we went to all these places, and then we eventually ended up in Kimmer. And Kimmer is a special place. It really is. It's a little town that was a mining town, and you go through the cemetery there. And when I first went there, I thought they had statues of antelope on the headstones in that cemetery, and I realized they were real antelope, that they were lying around through the cemetery, and it's just a herd of antelope there. And that was a wonderful thing. And Peter and Barbara, for them, living in England, it was just such a different experience to do that. And Joan took us all up through Yellowstone, and for them to see the Old Faithful and all of that. But then she ended up taking us at the end of the trip, I think it was the end, to into Kimmer, which was her hometown. And that was wonderful for them too. And we got to see this little town of Kimmer, and Joan was showing us all her little spots in Kimmer. And Peter and Barbara couldn't believe the experience that they had. And he ended up eating, he was very adventurous. He was eating elk and moose, steaks and things like that. And when they came back, they said, Joan, I think you know what you mean to me, and you have, I'll never regret anything that ever happened with me, with Earl and all of that, because it brought me to you. And bringing me to you not only brought me my best friend, you're just wonderful, someone I can talk to anytime and that I can trust and be with and especially have fun with, because we love the same things. And remember when that time we were at the movies in Provo, and the two polygamous ladies, it was in the afternoon, and the two polygamous ladies came and sat in front of us, and we leaned over to each other, and we were both married at the time and liked our husbands then too, but we both leaned over and said, you know, being a polygamist wife wouldn't be so bad maybe, because we'd have each other to go to the movies with in the day, you know. But now we do, and we still do it. And we'll get our popcorn and our drinks and sit there and go to movies, and it's one of our favorite things to do. We share so many of the same tastes and things, and I just, it's wonderful. But I'm the farmer's daughter who wears jeans and things, and you're the wonderful woman with the amazing hair that everybody notices, and the flamboyant, wonderful, colorful clothes that you wear and things, and you're just always, there's always something exciting to do with you and to be with you, and we have so much fun. And for you to let me into your family so that I get to enjoy all of that, because they're all just wonderful. And we have so much fun together, all of us. And you're really my family. And I have my own family, and I love being with them. But when I'm with you, all of you, it's like, it's just a unique, wonderful experience. And you've let me into knowing friends like Greg and of course Mavis and all of those wonderful people that I know. And you've just added so much to my life, and I really don't know what I'd have done without having the joy of being with you all these years. It's been an amazing friendship in all those years. And when I think about it and all the things we've experienced since we were living back in the early days at college, when I was living in a little one-room apartment with a pipe that dripped water on our heads, and you were, you know, in the early stages of all that too, and we had our little kids, and all that you, I don't know how you made it through the first year of Randy's life when he was crying constantly and everything, and you were just, I think we both learned from each other how to live a happy life, because mostly we're funny and laughing. When we got together with Marge and you and I, and we were laughing in the kitchen, your kids came out to find out what we were laughing, what we could be laughing at, because we just learned to have a sense of humor about our lives, and it's been wonderful being your friend. And I don't know what I'd have done without you all these years.